a moment where I was traveling through Central America quite a bit, and we were in Nicaragua. And there's an island in the middle of Lake Nicaragua, and it's an island composed of two volcanoes, and the lake has sharks in it. So it's like pretty. It's a pretty treacherous,
What?
honestly. Yeah, it's
Sharks in the
literally
lake? I
either
thought that's the
shark.
one place safe.
I know, dude. It's crazy. There's sharks and crocodiles in this lake, and
Hmm.
the when you get to the island, you got two active volcanoes. So like it's pretty, and you take a ferry from the mainland or whatever, and you go over there. It's called Ometepe. It's a pretty hippie area. There's a lot of people there, kind of doing yoga, smoking weed, doing drugs. It's kind of one of those vibes.
So it's
And
like Coachella.
it's like
It's
Coachella,
like
but
Coachella.
like Rihanna's not there. I don't think she's ever been, you know.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and so it's kind of a smaller island, and there's really not a lot of infrastructure. There's like one tiny town, but everyone kind of lives in like little villages and things like that. And so you need a scooter to get around. And it's a little bit easier. You kind of be more self-sufficient if you have a scooter. And so my girlfriend and I, we rented a scooter, and we had a great time. We were at this like yoga retreat, drinking coffee, hanging out with different people, and the sun was setting, so we wanted to go home. And this was it was off the road. You had to kind of get on a path with the scooter and go down the hill. And as I'm going down the hill, I'm like, man, it's going to be really hard going up this hill, especially as it's getting a little bit darker, right? So we go and we're leaving, and I'm driving, and I'm going up, and I kind of got to gun it a little bit because there's like these like mound of rocks in front of like the path, and you kind of got to go over these rocks. So I'm like, all right, I gotta like really send it, kind of like sent it too hard, and like end up crashing the scooter over, and like really gashing my arm a little bit. And and my girlfriend, she was pretty athletic, so she jumped off, zero problems. I go down with the ship, you know, and I crashed the scooter, and I'm bleeding everywhere. It's getting dark out. There's no one around. And the only choice we have is we basically have to like keep going. And it's unfortunate. I let out a couple cuss words. I kind of had to like, you know how it is. You got to like let some stuff out, and then you get to get
Makes you
back on.
feel better. I
Yeah.
think it makes you feel better sometimes. I think there's like a study on that. Like if you say swear words after getting hurt, it like makes it feel better. It's like a
I
mental thing. So
I
I get it.
swear it
Yeah.
works. Yeah, it's proven. If you haven't tried it before, give it a shot. Like it's good, especially when you're in the jungle. You're not going to offend anyone.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so the worst part is, I crashed this scooter, and that we're still 45 minutes away, 30, 45 minutes away from our hotel. So there's no one around. We don't have service. You just basically have to get back on the scooter and keep going. Otherwise, like, what else are you going to do? So we end up kind of like, I manually kind of lug this scooter up to where it's like not as treacherous anymore. We get back on, and we get eventually get on the road and start driving down. I'm driving so scared. I'm like, there's no way I'm crashing this thing again. So I'm taking my time. Like I'm not going very fast. The sun's like basically down at this point, and we finally get back to the hotel, right? And it's kind of dark, so I'm like, okay, it's dark. Like maybe they won't notice I just totally screwed this scooter up, right? And my arm is just it's gashed, it's bleeding everywhere. And I go up to the hotel lady, and she's basically like, well, I have paper towels. That's about it. There's no hospital on the island. There's no clinic. Everyone who has an issue, they go to the mainland, and then they come back and via the ferry. So we're on this island. I got no choice. And so we're just putting on like rubber bands and like paper towels on my arm. And then the guys who like rented the scooter, they like come to our hotel. 'Cause it's one of those where they bring you the scooter and they take you back or whatever. And they go, and I'm like hiding my arm behind my back so they don't like notice that I got hurt, because I'm thinking, okay, if I don't like look in pain, like maybe they won't like notice. And of course they notice, like it's their scooter. And so I'm not only am I like hurting, I got no medical treatment. Now I got to like shell out 50, $75 to these guys for like this scooter that I kind of screwed up a little bit. And that kind of added a little bit of salt to the wound,
And they didn't
unfortunately.
those guys, like, they didn't give a shit about your injury. They saw
No.
that and they were like, "Are you okay?" They were like, "Is our scooter okay?" Like
Yeah,
that was the
yeah.
sign that the scooter was fucked up.
They're like, okay, that's an indication Gringo is hurt. Like, how did he hurt
Yeah,
himself? We know. Let's get our
right.
phones out, turn the flashlight on, and start looking at this scooter.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Oh,
I think scooters are the number one way travelers get hurt. Like, it's just they're they're easy to get on, but they're hard to master. And if you don't pay attention, you can easily hurt yourself. And so anyway, they see that they don't care about my arm at all, and they just charge me money. Kind of feel like they add salt to the wound. But I think the moral of the story is like sometimes you don't know how remote you are until like something bad happens. And you're like, wait a second, like I don't like even if you have all the money in the world, if you have great insurance or whatever, there's just really no infrastructure to actually help you. You're kind of
if you're literally on an island with no medical facilities, yeah, you could be super wealthy and have all whatever you want in life, but if you're on an island and you get fucked up, like no one can help you.
it's
And I
humbling a
I
little
think
bit.
about Yeah, I mean, I think about that even when we're camping in Colorado or just, yeah, in some of these remote areas. I'm like, if something goes wrong out here, I'm pretty fucked. So, yeah,
I know.
just stay
I
safe.
mean, we love camping. I remember one time we were getting pretty drunk at the campfire, and there's a moose. I'm like, man, if this moose charges us, we are screwed. Like, you know?
Yeah. There was the other time I wasn't there, but people told the story about when Derek was sleeping like in a hammock and a tree just fell like right next to him and barely missed him. And like this thing was huge. And I think if it was just like a few feet, to the whatever side, like he would have been crushed. So that was sketch.
Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. And the funniest part is we just continued. We like, okay, it was a shocking thing, and we just continued
Yeah.
hanging
All
out. We're
right.
like,
Have
okay,
another, have
well,
another beer.
yeah, let's check the roots of these other trees. We don't even know what we're doing. Like they seem fine. Like let's move the hammock to a different tree. This one looks big.
Yeah. Sketch.
But it's one of those things like you got to be careful, and you should make sure that you are prepared for these sort of situations, but sometimes you just can't be, and sometimes that's the fun of it, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But at the end of the day, I spent 3 days with the whole thing on my arm, and then I eventually got back, and I got some clinic guy to help me out, so it turned out to
Have
be
you been
okay.
back? Have you been back on a moped or a scooter since?
Literally no.
Okay.
Literally, I think I because they always seem to give you the option, right? Scooter or four wheeler. Now I'm a four wheeler guy. Yeah,
That's just so much safer. Yeah. I mean, four wheels versus two, it's a lot harder to flip that thing.
yeah, 100%, 100%. Now, Steve, you've gotten into some interesting medical issues as well, though, right?
I have. And, funny enough, this story also occurred in Central America, also in a pretty remote area.